The law on 9-year compulsory education in China took effect 30 years ago on July 1st, 1986, and was implemented in order to try and eradicate illiteracy within China. They did this by giving every child the right to receive at least 9 years of education from the age of 6 to 15 years old. The 9-year compulsory schooling is through primary to junior high school. The law states that education between these years should be free in state schools. Parents only need to pay a small fee to the schools for books, food, electricity, and so on. For families who are below the poverty line, the government is working towards reducing the cost of these and also provides stipends for them. The benefits that came from this law were a huge decrease in illiteracy throughout all of China. A nationwide census was taken in 1990 showing that there were 182 million illiterates who were over 15 years old in China. Just over a decade after this census was taken, in 2002, the statistics showed the enrollment rate of primary school children was over 98%, and the amount of primary school graduates continuing onto high school education had reached 97%. The law divided China into 3 categories: cities and economically developed areas, towns and villages with medium development, and economically backward areas. Cities such as Beijing and Shanghai thrived and are still thriving under this law. Children are able to go to relatively good public schools and receive a decent education for at least 9 years. Although they have the same opportunity to go through basic schooling, the standard of schooling for children in rural areas is very different. I came across an article stating that the largest number of students in one classroom within China was 113. Although China has a mandatory 9-year compulsory schooling policy, they do not have a standardized teacher-to-student ratio, which does affect students' performance. As England is the only school system I am very familiar with, this got me thinking about whether this would be the case in any other country. I asked people all around the world about the teacher-student ratio in their classrooms when they were growing up, and they all seemed to differ.
Hi, there's a maximum of 20 students in my class.
When I was in England, I had a maximum of 30 people in my class. When I was in the Caribbean, I had a maximum of 42 people in my class. And when I was in Tanzania, I was at a small international school and I had a maximum of 10 people in my class.
I went to school in Japan. There were 20 students in my class.
When I was growing up, I had about 25 other classmates.
I went to a private school and had about 10 other kids in my class.
There was a maximum of 40 students.
When I was in school, we had about 40 people in my class.
When I was in school, there was a maximum 50 students in my class.
There were 40 students in my class.
30 students in my class.
In the classroom, there are 38 students. 14 classmates. There are 25 students in my class.
Around the world, there seems to be significantly less students within one classroom than China, which seemed to still have the largest number of students per class out of the group of people I asked. This is most likely due to the general overpopulation of China as a whole. I did find that people from towns and rural areas had a significantly higher number of students in their class than people from cities such as Shanghai. I believe the number of students in a classroom can vastly affect the students' ability to adequately learn. They have fewer opportunities to raise their hand and speak up and less interaction with the teacher on a one-on-one basis. There is also a problem with qualified teachers leaving these small towns and rural areas to venture out to the cities where class sizes are smaller and the schools are better equipped. So now these areas have the issue of overpopulated classrooms and underqualified teachers, which together has a massive impact on the child's ability to learn. I think this law has made a substantial impact on the schooling system, and the results are clear. I do feel that with China's overpopulation and the drastic difference between the categories, there will always be a disadvantage when it comes to the education system as a whole. The wealthy are able to put their children in preschool, so they have a head start before the compulsory years have begun. Being a kindergarten teacher myself, I see how advanced some of these children are. They are able to read, write, and speak with confidence in 2 different languages before they even hit primary school. The 9-year law is an excellent start, but I feel it needs to be refined, so not only will there be a mandatory schooling system, but the class sizes need to be standardized so all students can reach their full potential.